Dude, hope you like Weezer. Welcome, my friends, once again to another video, and I have a special for us here. This is going to be part one of a two-part episode that I'm calling Wheezing for Soup. Reason being is that about a week ago, my friend and I went to go see Weezer, and then the next day we went to go see Bowling for Soup. So I thought the title was funny, I thought it sounded cute, so we're going to go ahead and do a fancy two-parter, but really it's just going to be a review for the concert that I saw with Weezer, and then for the one that I saw with Bowling for Soup. Now, way back when I saw Weezer with the Hella Mega Tour, I didn't really talk about my introduction, so I figured now would be a good time to go ahead and kind of give a little history on how I got into Weezer. So like many other bands that I got into, it was because of the great game known as Guitar Hero, specifically Guitar Hero 3. The song of Weezer that was on Guitar Hero 3 truly was one of my favorites, called My Name is Jonas. Quick side note, I was actually able to find and dig up my old Guitar Hero 3 controller, still works perfectly well, and I was able to go ahead and find my Guitar Hero 3 controller for Guitar Hero Aerosmith. Now, it works with all the other Guitar Hero games that were on the Wii, since that was the system I had the game for, but I was really happy to go ahead and find these. I still crack them out once in a while, but I just think they're nice, cool set pieces to have lying around. Through the introduction of My Name is Jonas, I was then able to go ahead and discover more of the Blue Album, so the Sweater Song, Say It Ain't So, Buddy Holly. I was able to go ahead and use that as a jumping point to getting into other albums like the Green Album, the Red Album, and my love of Weezer would not only go throughout my years of high school, it would also carry over to college, and especially with the release of like the Teal album, which a lot of people seem to not like. I love Weezer doing covers. I think Rivers Cuomo has a really pretty voice for it, so, maybe I'm on the outlier, but I love the Teal album, and I specifically really love OK Human, Van Weezer, and Seasons. I think Seasons is such a banger. It's long to get through, don't get me wrong, because we have, 4 parts, spring, summer, autumn, and winter, but I think that as a complete album, it's fantastic, and I really recommend anyone going ahead and giving it a shot. With this lifelong love of Weezer, they're doing a tour for the 30th anniversary of the Blue Album, which was their first, so again, I am not only as old as Dookie, but I am also, evidently, as old as Weezer. So that's fun to know. Weezer to me always had that kind of dorky, outcast kind of feel, and I think that's what resonated with so many of the songs with me, especially when I was younger. Which is kind of ironic, because I guess nowadays Weezer's cool, or at least cool in an ironic sense. I mean, there was the meme going around for a while of Buddy Holly, which I still see stuff about all the time. There's the meme from Close Enough, where Josh goes over and goes, "Hey, I got a mixtape for the road trip, guys. Hope you like Weezer." But despite that kind of memeability of Rivers Cuomo and Weezer, they're pretty cool dudes overall, and I'm glad that they have continued to make very, very, very good music well down the road. Like 30 years later, not every band can say that they have consistently good albums. I'm not saying every album of Weezer is great. We would talk about Ratitude and the Black Album, getting into some murky water there. But I think overall, Weezer has certainly hit a lot more than they've missed. Now, Weezer on this tour was joined by 2 bands. The Flaming Lips, which we'll get to as the middle band, and our opener, Dinosaur Jr. Now, I don't really have too much to say about Dinosaur Jr. It was a little hard to hear some of their audio at some points, from the singer at least. I like their design that you can see in those circles, like the lava lamp design. I think that's really, really cool and trippy. And they kind of just had a very generic rock sound, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I don't want to make it sound like generic is necessarily bad. There's just nothing really stood out from the performance itself for me. Very simple, very straightforward. They came out, did a few songs, talked a little bit here and there, and then went ahead and pieced out to get ready for the Flaming Lips, and then, of course, Weezer. ensemble, very, very good as an opener. I'd like to see more, maybe see them in a situation where they can give me a little bit more of their personality, maybe interact with the audience a little bit more, but of course I understand with time constraints that's not always very feasible. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Dinosaur Jr. And now we get to the Flaming Lips. Disclosure, I was not familiar with the Flaming Lips at the start of this concert, so I have no idea who they were going in. They don't look quite that old, but they have been around for a very long time. And I gotta be honest, for like a middle band that I had no idea who they were, they absolutely blew my fucking socks off. The Flaming Lips are a very, very particular vibe, very chill, very laid back. They got a lot of cool, groovy sounds, and of course the singer has this really, really pretty sounding high voice, so you can hit those high notes and go, yeah, yeah, like, oh, it's so pretty, and it's such an experience to go ahead and sit through. What was also neat is that there was all these different like strobe lights and stuff going on. So like seizure warning, first things first. If I was baked, this would have been like the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The energy of the Flaming Lips was also fantastic as well. They, very similar to some other bands that I've seen, has very, very great energy throughout, as if they were the headliner. If I had left the concert after the Flaming Lips had gone on, I would have been completely satisfied, of course, without the knowledge that Weezer was up next. They gave that great of a performance. A couple of standout moments for me, at least. They had this one song that was a two-parter that was really, really pretty about robots. So then they had these giant inflatable robots that were like swaying and dancing back and forth. Like, it was such a freaking trip. It was so cool to go ahead and see. After the robots were out there and dancing, they had this sign that said, "Fuck yeah, Philadelphia," and everybody went, "Woo, yeah, Philly!" And then the sign started falling apart, so they chucked it in the audience, and the people were pulling out, and balloons went everywhere, and it was great fun. They had another song later down the road called "Yeah," I think it was just called "Yeah" or "Yeah, Yeah, Yeah," whatever it might be, and they had this like, again, inflatable. It was a pair of lips and then like eyeballs that they could manipulate to like look at different spots. And it was really, really cool. I have not seen a band utilize like inflatables into their performance like that and make it look so good. So not only was the vibe there, not only was the sound great, but the use of the inflatable stuff all over was just very, very charming and fun. Like I said, I could have left that concert right after the Flaming Lips were done, and I would have been satisfied. I am now officially a lifelong fan, and I want to see them again. I want to see them as a headliner, and I want to see all the kind of wild, crazy, trippy stuff that they could come up with. One takeaway from this video, besides it, I like Weezer, is check out the Flaming Lips. You will not be disappointed, I promise. So after the Flaming Lips gave an amazing performance, next up, of course, was Weezer. The vibe of this concert for Weezer, or I should say the theme, is Voyage to the Blue Planet. Now what that means is that Weezer, the band Weezer, is the only group that can save the blue planet, whatever the hell that means. Even the band members are kind of laugh about how silly the idea is, but it's performed with enough sincerity where it's like, yeah, that was pretty entertaining. So a little video pops up and it's the band members saying, okay, we're going to the blue planet. And Rivers Cuomo just kind of looks and goes, yeah, really super awkward. And then a countdown starts, and ooh, the anticipation for that 5-minute countdown.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! Oh my God, it's beautiful.
So then, of course, the countdown stops. You know, they have the video of them walking up to the launch pad, and in the center of the stage, like, was a rocket ship. Now, what was cool about the rocket ship is that when it started and they got in, and it actually shoots up across the stage, revealing the band underneath as they walk out in these really, really well-made spacesuits. Like, it was super, super high quality.
That's so cool.
So we go through like a countdown sequence. We get a song, Anonymous, and then it was kind of a ride from there. Now, every once in a while, they would kind of interject, have like a little clip of the big video screen in the background, just kind of explaining the plot, if you will.
Well, we are 30 light years out from the blue planet, and we can't wait to get back there. Thank you all for coming with us on this very dangerous and very important mission.
Time for us to save the blue planet.
Wait for just 1 second. Did you guys see that alien with the big green head flying around over there?
That was spooky.
Yes. His name is Bacchus. And he does not like us.
Screw that guy. That creep destroyed my sweater.
Oh man. What? Let's take you shopping, Brian.
Throughout their travels on the voyage to the blue planet, they were harassed by this big head alien dude called Bacchus. And there's one point where like Bacchus shoots down the ship. It's like, oh no, we're in danger. The structure of this complete set list for Weezer is pretty interesting, considering the fact that the Blue Album itself is not really that long. It's pretty short. So there's gonna have to be other stuff in there to go ahead and kind of fill the time to make it worth the price of entry. Now, of course, Weezer did play a bunch of their hits. You know, we got Hash Pipe. Island in the Sun. Pork and Beans.
I'ma do the things that I wanna do. I ain't got a thing to bring to you. I'll eat my candy with the pork and beans. Excuse my manners and I'll make a
One of the songs that they played was from Pacific Daydream, which is a really fun album. That's the album that has Feels Like Summer. And the song they played, sadly, was not Feels Like Summer because it was autumn by that point, but it was A Friend of Diane's, and I'm like, ooh, what a fun song to go ahead and play for us, Weezer. So at this point in the concert, we're at the midway point, and this is the part where Bacchus, the big alien dude, starts shooting down the spaceship that we are on, as if we're all there with Weezer, and we go down, oh geez, and we land in the Pinkerton Valley.
We are currently marooned in an asteroid belt.
It looks familiar. What asteroid belt?
The Pinkerton asteroid belt, of course.
I love Pinkerton. I think Pinkerton is another album that is absolutely fantastic. And what was nice is they played a really good selection from Pinkerton. They played 5 songs from the Pinkerton album, and I thought they were all very, very good choices. I almost kind of wish they played Pinkerton in its entirety and then the Blue Album, but the vibe would get kind of weird because of how depressing Pinkerton can be. So it was really, really nice, and I didn't really expect them to play that many songs from Pinkerton. It's just we normally don't get a lot of songs from them live. But while we were in the Pinkerton Valley, the ship was kind of, as you can see in the background, was flying around and like finding spare parts to rebuild itself so that it could go ahead and get us over to our final destination on the Blue Planet. So we go ahead and we arrive on the Blue Planet, and we find out that, oh no, it's all gray and sad now. So Weezer has to go ahead and play the entirety of the Blue Album to revitalize the planet and bring it back to life.
Oh, they have the flag.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
The planet's all gray.
Yeah. It's dying.
Oh no.
We need the Blue Album to bring it back to life.
It's goofy, but it's stated with such sincerity from Rivers Cuomo and the others that I'm just like, you just gotta buy into it. And so then it starts with My Name is Jonas, and then it goes through the entirety of the Blue Album, which is nice. I think a lot of people forget how good the Blue Album really was in comparison to the other albums that Weezer would make. Not that they have a lot of bad albums, but the Blue Album itself as a starter was like really, really solid. All the songs, in my opinion, are fantastic, easy to sing along to. It's just a lot of fun, and it's kind of crazy that, yeah, this was Weezer's first album, and they knocked it out of the fucking park with it. It also kind of surprised me how much, like, the entire audience was actually singing along with all of the Blue Album. I was pleasantly surprised. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, and the audience gave such great energy back all throughout the performance.
I think, I sing, and I die. If you want to destroy my sweater, hold this flame as I walk away. Watch me unravel, I'll soon be naked. I am
Now, of course, you know, we are obligated to talk about Buddy Holly, the meme song from Weezer that everybody loves. But it was funny. So that's actually like the 4th song on the album. So the song that plays before is The World Has Turned and Left Me Here. And not a lot of people sang along with that one. But then, you know, it dies down and it gets really, really quiet. And then suddenly it flashes and we hear, "What's with these homies?" And people lost their fucking minds, myself included. We were screaming and chanting along with it. And of course, when it gets to the do-do-do-do-do-do-do, like everyone, like, just lost their fucking minds. It was great.
just like Buddy Holly. Oh, and you're married Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that.
I do think the song Buddy Holly is, of course, a really, really good song in itself, but I like the meme part of it. I like that we can all kind of laugh and have a good time with it. Throughout the Blue Album, as it's being played, you know, the society is healing itself, buildings are being built. There's a final showdown with Bacchus, where we find out that, I suppose, canonically in Weezer lore, Rivers Cuomo is from the Blue Planet, and he's called the Weezerite, and I guess that's what we are as well, as fans of Weezer, and he could shoot lasers from his eyes? Okay. But you just kind of go ahead and roll along with it.
Well, because I'm one of them.
Oh,
This is where I'm from.
that explains a lot.
And all of you, too.
Yeah!
all the songs play. We get through a great album, great fun. And then it just kind of ends. And I think the only problem with the Blue Album is that kind of ends on a weird note. So I feel that maybe something else at the end might have been better as like a closing song, because it's not really an encore. Just kind of play the songs and get out. But it was by no means bad. I just think that the flow is a little bit off at the end. However, I don't want that to deter from the great time that we had. Now, throughout, we're seeing different video clips of like different locations that they're going to. And of course, we see Bacchus and they're fighting him off in the background and stuff. And seeing this kind of goofy, mid-2000s space TV show in the background was kind of nostalgic. It's kind of hard to describe, but it was a lot of fun to go ahead and watch. Another one of my favorite bits is that after they land on the blue planet, Rivers Cuomo comes out and he has the gold Captain Kirk-esque shirt. Not exactly the Star Trek shirt, but one that is clearly meant to be inspired by Star Trek. But it was just fun. No matter how much Weezer is kind of a meme, they don't really take themselves too seriously, and I like that they were able to make something very creative and present a concert as if, we're on a spaceship or on an episode of Star Trek together with Weezer traveling through space. It's a really, really unique experience, and just kind of goes to show that Weezer is a bunch of dorks, and that appeals to dorks like me. And it was nice to be able to share our dorky love of weird space television and music and Weezer together in this big stadium. It was a lot of fun, and it's just nice. It's nice to kind of have that connection, and you feel seen.
Beverly Hills, that's where I want to be. Living in Beverly Hills, rolling like a celebrity. Living in Beverly Hills.
One thing that I did notice in particular about this tour is that it really does cater to the older stuff with Weezer. You're not really going to find a lot of new ones. Like they didn't really play anything from Seasons, unfortunately. They didn't play anything from Van Weezer or OK Human. And I could kind of understand why they did that with playing a chunk of Pinkerton and the entirety of the Blue Album. It was probably best to kind of keep it in the older era of Weezer without playing some more modern stuff, because the sound could be a little bit different. So, while I would have liked to hear some Van Weezer, it's okay. I saw a chunk of it during the Hella Mega Tour. I'm not going to really bitch about it. Just more so an observation that if you plan to go, just know it's going to be more so for like the older Weezer stuff. You're not really going to see much of the new stuff. I think the newest song that they played was Friend of Diane's, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong, since time is kind of a weird mess in my brain sometimes. But for the old Weezer fans out there, you're going to have a blast singing along to all your favorites and then more. As far as merchandise goes, everything was blue, which is not a bad thing, but of course, everything's got to be thematically correct. Now, the shirt that I picked up, which is really pretty, like paintbrush-looking symbol for Weezer, got some lyrics on the back with Voyage to the Blue Planet, and I really, really like it.
Thanks for coming with us all this way, all this time. Thanks to the Weezer flight crew for keeping us safe. Thank you to the amazing bands, the Flaming Lips and Dinosaur Jr. What a voyage it's been.
It's not every day that you get an experience quite like this that is entertaining, creative, and just a lot of fun. This is definitely a show that I recommend anyone would go ahead and see, whether you're a fan of Weezer or not. I think that it has a little bit of something for everyone and enough variety to kind of keep you entertained throughout the entire process. And of course, who the hell doesn't love Buddy Holly? Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. The next one that I will be getting out is going to be our second part, where we talk about bowling for soup. So thank you all very, very much for watching, and I will see you